So the question is, are the Phillies really this good? Are they this good? The Phillies are right now on pace for 112 wins. Can they sustain that? How much of that can they sustain? They're a damn good baseball team. We're going to talk a little bit of Phillies today. Sixers, Daryl Morey spoke to the media yesterday. Thought we were going to get off the Sixers convo a little bit today. But he spoke and gave a little bit more insight into his plans and his thoughts from this past season and this offseason. Pat Riley spoke yesterday. That's something I want to talk about today. The New York Knicks. I don't want to talk about them, but that game and officiating last night, from what I've seen, atrocious. We've got so much to talk about right here on Trend in the AM. We'll be live with all of it in 60 seconds. And a very, 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 very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, as always, right here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe or follow button. Just make sure you get interactive with the show, the retweet button, wherever you're watching, whichever platform, whatever thing you have to do to get everybody interactive. The number one morning show in Philadelphia, the first daily YouTube show, 3 years running right here, talking all things trending in Philadelphia sports. Guys, this show is about you. It's where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, every single morning here on Trending in the AM. You can find me on social media at Beard of Knowledge if interested. And guys, I got a jam-packed show as always for you guys today. Lots of topics that I am going to throw out there to discuss. The Phillies, another series sweep, taking 4 straight games from the Giants, 5 wins in a row, to get their record to 25-11. That is not a small sample size. That is a 36-game sample size, and our Fighting Phillies are on pace to win 112 games this year. And I ask a very simple question. Are they really this damn good? I want to know. Are they good? I mean, I had them projected at 88 wins. They would have to play 500 ball the rest of the year for that to happen. So we're going to talk about that. Why are they so good? What to expect? How can they sustain some level of this today? And who needs to step up or continue to step up for this season to follow the trajectory that it's taking? Yesterday, Daryl Morey spoke to the media. And normally when Daryl Morey speaks, you don't really get much information from him. Now I'm going to say that I listened to it on replay and clips and saw all the highlights and didn't watch it live. Didn't even know he was speaking yesterday. We actually got a little bit of information out of Daryl Morey's thought process going into this offseason. So we are going to talk about that. Some of the things he said. What does it mean? I think there is some threads of information in what Daryl Morey said yesterday to the media. Another thing that I want to cover. If you guys have not heard what Pat Riley said in his press conference. It's something I want to dive a little bit into. And honesty from our executives, from our coaches, our players, something definitely to think about. Obviously, I did not watch the Knicks Pacers game last night. Why would I torture myself? But man, from everything I've seen, the Knicks have already won that series after game one because of refereeing and officiating. Do we have an officiating issue in sports? And obviously, the answer is yes. And one little side note that we're just going to throw out there as a side conversation today is yesterday, and I missed this, so that's why I'm bringing it up today. Yesterday was the 30-year anniversary of Jeffrey Lurie buying the Eagles, and the gold standard of ownership brought back to Philadelphia sports. If you're a youngin, you don't know what life was like before Jeffrey Lurie. Us old heads, we know. So just some thoughts throughout the show on Jeffrey Lurie. But guys, this show, as all shows on Edge of Philly Sports, we are brought to you by, I'm not prepared for my own ad reads here, how dare I, by SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't happen. They happen with you in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. Price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more. SherryTickets.com. Use special promo code EOP10, the number 10, and at checkout and shave on your experience. On top of the no hidden fees, you'll get 10% off. If you need a more personal touch, call them 610-494-5050. Let them know EOP. Let them know Trending in the AM sent you. Again, SherryTickets.com. No hidden fees. 10% off with EOP10. Don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. And all right, right to the comments. K1 in early this morning. Get back to me when Phils play somebody. And I get this one, K1. They have played a lot of lesser teams. No doubt about it. Absolutely accurate. But I was looking at it. There's only like 3 or 4 teams that you could say are theoretically even on the same level. So every team the Phillies are going to face is going to be a lesser opponent now, if you believe they're this good. So that was not my idea. That's something I saw from somebody else when somebody else brought up the records of these teams. The Dodgers are a great team. The Braves are a great team. But outside of that, in the National League, how many teams can you say the Phillies have to play that are somebody? They played Cincinnati, who's got a great record. They went 2-2 against them in Cincinnati, I believe. So there's a thread that they haven't played good opponents, but there's also a thread of topic where they are the best. So of course, every opponent's going to look weaker to them. 2 different trains of thoughts there. Butterfly in the sky. I could get. I don't know what you're saying there. It's too early for that. I'm a big fan of the Phillies, and I'm sorry to hear that, little G. I apologize. My thoughts are with you. Stop the cap on what? Who won the Knicks game? The Knicks won, of course. The Knicks were gifted by some fantastic referee calling or officiating last night. We're going to get into some of those plays. I don't care about basketball no more, says K1. Yeah, I mean, we say that, but then something comes up, then somebody speaks. I had all intents and purposes was not going to talk Sixers today. Then I found out Daryl Morey spoke, so I have some things to discuss there. But I get the feeling that you don't want to talk basketball anymore. I get it. Another disappointment. It is what it is. Daryl said Paul Reed's name. Daryl Morey, and I quote: Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul Reed, Ricky Council, and Nick Nurse will be back. Made me gag in my mouth when I heard that. Good morning, Duck. Party people? I'm beyond my party days, Duck. I am not a party people. I was talking with my brother this weekend, and he brought up the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City, and we were talking about all the times we partied at that place, got smashed at that. I'm beyond party people anymore. Too old for that. But you have to win against the teams you should have win against. How many times have great teams just not cleared? Exactly. So every team's lesser than us record-wise right now, with the Phillies. And Like opponents like San Francisco. Let's think about it. San Francisco's 15-21. They were 15-17 when they came to town. So we whooped up on an average team. You got to beat the lesser teams. How many times have the Phillies gotten destroyed by a bad Marlins team or, a lesser Colorado when they're bad? You know, you got to win. And they're winning the games they should, and they're winning literally right now. They are on pace for 112 wins. Now, I don't expect them to keep up a near 70% win percentage this year. I think they're at like 696, 697. I don't expect that, Duck. But it isn't out of the realm of possibility to think that they're going to win 100 games now. And I thought that was a very, very distant long shot. I don't know. Remember what the over/under on wins on the bet lines were to start the season? I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 89 or 90. Anybody that took the over there, I called you crazy. But now you got an easy bet there. I hate that K1. They played who they play. That's a can't win mentality. Yeah, I get it. I know there's two threads here, Big Al. There's the thread that they haven't played anybody. But again, realistically speaking, I have the box score from yesterday up. I don't have the standings. Let me pull the Major League standings up here. How many teams can you say are teams that are real tests in the American League? Baltimore, the Yankees, that would be real tests that they prove it. The Guardians, I guess. Obviously the Braves. The Brewers aren't really a test. The Dodgers, that's it. They're the only teams that are really in that elite category this year that you'd have to think that those are the games that you're really going to judge yourself. I just named 6 teams, and that's it. So the Phillies are one of the 6 or 7 best teams, so every opponent is going to be a lesser opponent. They still got to beat them. Reading Rainbow. I loved Reading Rainbow when I was a kid. I don't know why. I did. Ant-Man might deliver this year. Marshawn with Minnesota, 2-0 up on the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me tell you something. I am so mentally torn on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I love Anthony Edwards. Fantastic player. I put him right up there with SGA. I put him right up there with Maxey and Harper. Young players in this league that I just love watching play basketball. But yet then on the other side, you've got Karl Anthony Towns, one of my least favorite players in the entire NBA. I just can't stand him. He just rubs me the wrong way so bad. So I want to cheer for the Timberwolves in that series so bad for Ant-Man. But, man, I can't cheer for Cat. Can't. But, yeah, 2-0 up on the Denver Nuggets, up the defending champions. Man, Thunder tonight. I'll be watching the Thunder game tonight. Well, some of it. I can't say all of it, but I will watch some of it. For sure, because I am an OKC fan. Always have. Still at the club. No, never at the club. This is a party. This is a party. This is what you call a party. Gotcha. But we got to reevaluate, Tuck, what you think a party is. Does he know Paul's contract ain't guaranteed? Yeah. Look, the Paul Reed scenario, Paul Reed will theoretically probably be back, but not on the current contract. What's going to happen, Marshawn, is they're going to void that contract, and then they're going to make him an offer, a 1 year, $2 million, 1 year, $4 million contract, something like that, and that's it. Or they're going to use him, and they're going to sign and trade him in a deal to bring in somebody else. Because if you listened to everything that Daryl Morey said, he is literally telling you right now that he's going to break our hearts and bring in Paul George or Jimmy Butler. In his words, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the quote written down in front of me, I want wings that can play at a high level in the playoffs. And to him, that's star hunting. To him, that's Paul George. And Paul George came up small in some playoff games. But he's looking for stars that are going to come out. And he doesn't care about the regular season or the seeding or the rankings. He wants stars for the playoffs. He basically said he wants Paul George and Jimmy Butler. Now, Paul George, whatever. And Jimmy Butler didn't play in the playoffs outside of the playing game this year. But basically, he shouted out from the rooftops that is his plan. Daryl said you need good players to win. You can't make this shit. Yeah, some of what he said was dumb, obviously. He did admit that Buddy Hield didn't work out the way he had hoped. He was very honest on the Buddy Hield scenario, which is fine. K1, you're in charge of chat cap count. I don't even know what chat cap count means. Big Al is my anyway. The K1 versus Big Al show. K1, you'll have to tune in and to his show, and give him a hard time there about that. We play the Blue Jays soon. Today at 6:40. They haven't been good this year, but the Blue Jays are a tough team. Yeah, I was looking at some of their stuff. Obviously, we got a 5-game winning streak. We're red hot, and then we start a 6:40 game tonight against them and a 1 o'clock business person special. They still call them business person specials. Um, Super talented team with a bunch of young hitters that just aren't hitting yet. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has been disappointing to start the season. Bo Bichette, Dante Bichette's son, slow start to the season. Turner, I forget his first name. He's doing okay. Their bats have not come alive, but they are a very potent team. And anytime I hear the name Guerrero in Philadelphia, and not because of Eddie Guerrero, we're talking about Vlad Guerrero and Vlad Guerrero Jr., I just get scared. As a kid growing up, no player killed the Phillies more to me than Vlad Guerrero did with the Expos. So whenever I hear a Guerrero name, I'm just like, oh man, we're gonna get killed. I'm pretty sure Vlad Guerrero Jr. has had some pretty good games against us too. K1 capping early today, is he? Is he? I didn't know until this very day that it was Big Al all along. Let's go of that hate, Phil. Leave room for something else. What? Let go of that hate. I don't have hate. Hate's a strong word. I don't like the word hate. It's too strong of a word. Thunder made the right trades and drafted best players. Process, on the other hand, yeah, yeah. And the Thunder, I mean, we're in a totally different scenario now than the Thunder were. But the Thunder are why I sometimes feel that maybe keeping that 16th pick and not trading it is the right way to go. But you got probably a 2-year window left with Joel Embiid. You got to go all in and do what you got to do. But in my mind, there's a scenario where you plucked out Tyrese Maxey at 21. Why can't you pluck out the next star 3 at 16? Who knows? We all know wings are overrated. I wish I had a pair of wings on me. I'd love to fly. What's up? We got somebody commenting in on Twitch. That's a rare occurrence. But what's up, Diggs? How you doing? Sixers will spend money on short term that will not still not get us over the hump, and they will just keep sell us dreams and giving us nightmares. Well, dreams and nightmares are the same exact thing, just with different perspective. Just so you know. And this goes into Sixers ownership. And the Sixers ownership conversation, considering that yesterday was the 30th anniversary of the day Jeffrey Lurie bought the Eagles. And the difference between Jeffrey Lurie as an owner and Josh Harris. Hell, you could throw John Middleton and Jeffrey Lurie versus Josh Harris. Josh Harris does not care about winning. Josh Harris cares about ticket sales. And he don't even care about ticket sales. He don't care about who's sitting in section 204. He cares about who's sitting in the luxury box and who's sitting courtside and paying those premium prices to him. He cares about how much he could charge Drive David for the logo to be all over the center. That's what he cares about. And that's why, theoretically, probably, we will never win. Never. Did you just say Bubba Fett? Did I? I did not. I think that's a Star Wars reference, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I still think KJ McDaniels could have been a useful pick. That was what, like 27 years ago now, KJ McDaniels? When I first saw him, there was a game early in his first year, or maybe it was even in the preseason, where I saw him with a breakaway steal and dunk, and I'm like, KJ McDaniels, the next Andre Iguodala. That was the worst analogy I've ever made in my life, probably. How are you not on Rumble? I don't even know what Rumble is. Big Al, what's Rumble? Are we on Rumble? I don't know. TMZ has asked for us to be on Rumble 100 times. Yeah, well, see, exactly. What's Rumble? Is Rumble a real thing, or is this some joke that I'm going to type in Rumble into my search bar and then my computer's going to come crashing to a halt? He might be the 30th participant in what? Rumble? I don't know. See, I you know me. You know I don't know that stuff. LeBron coming to the Sixers. I mean, it's a theory. Wings that can play high level in the playoffs. I quoting Daryl Morey. And that's what LeBron is. And LeBron at 38, 39 years old, I would take LeBron. And I know this is crazy. I would take LeBron at 38, 39 years old on a 2-year, $110 million contract. Then I would take a 4-year, 34-year-old Paul George. Then I would take a 2-year Jimmy Butler on. I would take LeBron over those two names without about a shadow of a doubt. No doubt about it. No, none at all. But that's still like my 14th, it's still 14th on the list of what I would want. I really don't want any of the three. Now, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler for a second. I watched KJ in college and loved his game from there. Yeah, I still, yeah, it was just, what year was KJ McDaniels? I mean, I know it was early in the process, but I feel like KJ McDaniels, like this process has dragged on for the Sixers for so long. Hell, the process is technically over. Once we traded for James Harden to get him here, that was the end of the process. Because the process was about acquiring assets to acquire stars, not championships. That's something that most Sixers fans misunderstand. The process was about acquiring assets to acquire stars, not championships. But it feels like the process started like 27 years ago. I feel like this has taken 50 years off my life, and it's really been, what, 10 years? 8 years, 10 years, something like that. I feel like the season before the process started when we traded for Andrew Bynum was literally, I feel like I was in high school. Hell, it feels so long. Maybe I was in high school when that happened, but I highly doubt that. I think he might have spelled grinder wrong. I don't know. Guys, real quick. We are brought to you here by sportstrips.com. If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best, phillysportstrips.com. They're the pros. Go with them, okay? They feature premium travel and tailgate experience for the best fans ever, Philadelphia sports fans. They have self-travel packages, full travel packages, bus trips locally, plane trips to Brazil to see your Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1, August 30th through September 8th. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, tell them EOP, tell them Trending the AM sent you. Do not forget, phillysportstrips.com, all the trips, everything you want to do to hang out and party and watch your teams with other fans just like you. Go check them out. phillysportstrips.com. Let them know EOP sent you. And I want to bring up something in this Jimmy Butler scenario here. LeBron was playing while I was in high school. If that's any indication, he's been in the league for 20 years now. I was already done college, but I'm old, so it is what it is. Big Al, that's an HR. Is there an HR department at EOP? I don't know. Don't know. Phil, let me talk to your man. Yeah, Big Al's in the comments, so it is what it is, guys. So yesterday, I guess it was yesterday. I saw the video yesterday, unless he spoke on Sunday, but I'm assuming he spoke yesterday. Pat Riley, legend, multiple-time champion as a coach, champion as a player, multiple-time champion as an executive. One of the greatest NBA minds of all time, Pat Riley. Talking about one Jimmy Butler. And for those that don't know, Jimmy Butler, troll Jimmy Butler, arrogant Jimmy Butler, just like Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid are cut from the same cloth with the chirping and the talking on social media and whatnot. Was quoted as saying it looked like he was like at a party or something like that, saying, "Well, if I was still playing, if the Heat were playing Boston or New York or whoever, wouldn't be winning games or whatever." Basically calling out Boston, saying that if he was playing, the Heat would be whooping up on him. Pat Riley came out at his postseason presser and says, "If you're not on the court, keep your mouth shut." Basically, just slamming the door and just slapping everything Jimmy Butler said. Jimmy Butler is one arrogant POS. Jimmy Butler is not going to be happy with this. Some people are not happy that Pat Riley said this. Pat Riley also called out Tyler Hero. Maybe if he played more, we could see how good he could be. And, Pat Riley just speaking his honest mind. And we complain about Daryl Morey or other executives being in all sports. We could say we can use this Pat Riley scenario with all sports, okay? We complain when our coaches, our executives don't tell the truth. We complain when the executives don't, you know, just kind of dance around topics. Now there's people upset that Pat Riley's being too honest. Let me tell you something. Jimmy Butler's a hothead. Jimmy Butler right now is stewing. Jimmy Butler is not happy that Pat Riley called him out like that. There's a scenario where Jimmy Butler is going to want out of Miami now. And again, do you want Jimmy Butler in Philadelphia? There is if Jimmy Butler is unhappy and wants out of Philly or out of Miami, Philly is going to be his top choice. And that's going to be the talk. And I saw a Sixers content or podcast account put out a tweet. If you could only choose one, Jimmy Butler or Paul George, who would you pick? Now, I would pick, obviously, Jimmy Butler. I don't want either. I'd prefer LeBron over both of them. But Jimmy Butler, for 2 years, because he's got 2 years left on his deal. I know it's close to $100 million left on his contract for 2 years. Or Paul George for 4 or 5 years, depending if you sign him or sign and trade for him. Paul George at 4 or 5 years at his age at $55, $60 million a year, because I'm pretty sure it would be somewhere in that 4-year, $240 million, $230 million, 5 years, $300 million, somewhere in that range. I definitely don't want that. Please leave your complaints in the round cylinder next to my desk. I'm just going to go randomly put a shoebox in your office and title it the complaint box. I want to see a complaint box behind you in the studio the next time you're live from your studio there, Big Al. Just a big complaint box, okay? Phil, where are your jerseys? They're in the office. They're in my closet. I'd rather go with this. I like this design a little better than the jersey. I'm very happy with the way my studio turned out down here. Very happy. Phil's studio like it was designed by Hurricane. Hurricane who? Hurricane who? K1, can you see the notebook of bearded knowledge? The notebook's right here. I got my notebook. I got it. And I'm writing down timeout for TMZ right there. Just saying, barely. You don't need to see what's written down. There might be little doodlings of pictures and whatnot, or maybe there's actual notes. Maybe. I'm not sure. You can't read my notebook, though. Did he just set a camera down randomly and start his show? What? What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? And by you people, I mean you people. Guys, make sure you come on out to the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar this upcoming Saturday, May 11th, starting at 2:30. EOP will be there doing pre- and post-game Phillies shows, watching the Phillies game. I've already seen the list. A good portion of the EOP family is going to be there, shaking hands and kissing babies. I will be there. Maybe not till about 3 o'clock, but I will be there. I'd love to meet you guys. So come on out. You can get a chance by just showing up to win 2 free Phillies tickets to the June 28th Phillies-Marlins game on a Friday night. What a better way to spend a Friday night in the summer than at a Phillies game on us. Come to the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar Saturday, May 11th, starting at 2:30. Guys, I would love, absolutely love to meet some of you guys there. So make sure you guys do that, please. I beg you. Come show that Trending in the AM family travels. That Trending in the AM comes out to support the team. Do that. Do that. But back to the topics. I want to get back to the Phillies. We've gone off on the tangent a little bit here. We'll get back to basketball because we still really haven't talked about those 3 atrocious Knicks calls. But back to the Phillies. Or back to my office. Phil's office looks like it came out of South Philly in the 80s. That is spot on true. There's wood paneling all over my basement. And the bar on the other side where I did the first show in the new home looks like something out of the 80s. It looks actually, maybe not South Philly, it looks like my basement in Sea King growing up. It really does with all the wood paneling. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yes, David, back to the Phillies. Let's back to a team that actually is playing, back to a team that has exceeded expectations at times, that hasn't disappointed us quite as much. I know the Phillies disappointed us in the playoffs last year, but we've made 2 years in the playoffs. We went to the World Series 2 years ago. Last year came to a slight halt a little sooner than necessary. But this team, like, if you think about it, I was watching yesterday's game at the pizza shop, Fox's Pizza in Kennett Square. Come on out and come see me, guys. Fox's Pizza, right there. There's always my menu. Always ready to promote. Come see me. Watching the game at the shop yesterday, and Nick Castellanos hit that double. I was like, he's 2 for 2. Let me see if that got his average up to 200. And it did. I mean, he's hitting 197 now. But that was his first double last night. We are 36 games into the season, and Nick Castellanos got his first double. Now, say what you will about Nick Castellanos and his struggles last year since he's been to Philly. Whatever you want about him. But he's been struggling even more than ever before this year. And the fact that he has struggled the way he has, and the fact that the Phillies are still 25-11, the fact that Kyle Schwarber's not doing anything extra this year, the fact that now we're out without Trey Turner, the fact that Rojas is learning on the fly in center field, the fact that Bryce Harper, while he hit his 8th home run of the season, really hasn't been Bryce Harper yet. The starting rotation is fantastic, but the bullpen, Alvarado's been okay. Dominguez has been trash. Some other guys have been hot and cold in that bullpen. The fact that all that is going on, and the fact that we are still 25-11, just goes to show how amazing Alec Bohm has been, how amazing Brandon Marsh, Trey Turner, how amazing some of the other pieces of this team have been. And, of course, how amazing the starting pitching has been this year. If some of these other guys that are struggling or haven't quite peaked yet this year start to come up, yeah, some other guys might struggle, but as they start to struggle, other guys might pick up the pace. Now, I don't expect the Phillies to win 112 games. That's like almost impossible to imagine. And that's what they're on pace for. But was 105 games really out of the realm of possibility now? I expect injuries to happen to the pitching staff and things to go on. It's a long season in baseball. And I'm sure there'll be some complaining days on this show, baseball season-wise. I've tried not to complain about the lineup too much. I've tried. Not very successfully, but I've tried. But is this team that damn good? You already saw that. Phil will kiss your baby. Is your child? Stop. I'll be at the streetlight for all of your complaints. If you want to complain to HR, Big Al will be at the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar on Saturday. So you can put all your complaints to the HR manager, Big Al Zafiri. Yeah, absolutely. Phillies pitching has actually been doing well, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to still be an issue. The starting pitching, I mean, I don't know if there's any way that the starting pitching can keep up at this rate. There's got to be. So Turnbull, Ranger, and Zach Wheeler are all in the ones with their ERAs. Aaron Nola's in the mid-3s, and Sanchez has still been pretty solid. Sanchez is pitching tonight, so I should be able to pull up his stuff right now. Hold on 1 second here. Chris Sanchez, he's got a 3.680 ERA. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I think it was Saturday or Sunday when I was watching the game. I heard them say that their starting rotation is like a 2.4 or 2.2 ERA on the season, so it's changed obviously over the last couple games. But man, there's no way that I could keep up at that rate. But even if the starting pitching falls down a little bit and their team ERA goes to like 3.5, that's still winning these kind of games. And these pitchers are pitching well because of one key stat that we heard, and I think I brought it up earlier on this show yesterday or maybe late last week. The fact that the Phillies, after the 4th inning, have a 2-run or more lead in almost every single game. And when you get a big lead, you know what it does? It takes the pressure off the pitchers. They don't have to nibble on the corners. They don't got to press themselves or press at all when they're up there on the mound. The lack of pressure that these Phillies pitchers are having to face because the offense is hitting so well, it's fantastic. And that is the key right there. The pitchers have cut down on walks. Huge. Big advantage. They have depth both on the bench and in the minors. Absolutely agree with you 1,000%. Good morning, Brad. Kryson, good morning. Checking in. I believe this Philadelphia Phillies could go all the way and make the postseason in the playoffs. Well, first and foremost, We're not talking about the postseason and just the playoffs. We got to be talking World Series with this team, Brad. With this kind of a start, anything short of, at the very least, competing in the NL pennant, the championship round, would be a massive disappointment at this point. I said it earlier. I predicted 88 wins. Way off. They would have to play 500 ball to just win 88 games. They would have to go 63 and 63 the rest of the season to finish at 88 wins, which I predicted. And 88 wins still gets you to the playoffs. They can play 500 ball and still make the playoffs. Just think about that. So this team is on pace to make the playoffs. This team is on pace to be competitive, barring massive injuries to multiple players. This team should be competing in the World Series at the end of October, beginning of November. No doubt about it. And I would have said that even if we weren't this hot to start the season. I really would have. If that wood paneling went all the way to the ceiling, I would have said, yeah, that would be more. My basement growing up in Seacane, it went all the way up to the ceiling for sure. It's like 1972 half and 1998. Yeah, something like that. This basement looks like it was remodeled last in 1988, to be honest with you. I don't think 112 games out of the possibility. I understand the pitching in general has been good in baseball. Yeah, I get it. I mean, how many teams? How many teams have won 112 games? How many teams win 110 games, honestly? Statistician, if you're out there and you're watching, tell me how many teams in the last 20, 25 years have won 110, 112 games? It doesn't happen often. It's hard to keep up that set. Like they're at what, 696, 697 winning percentage right now. So basically a 70% win percentage. That's really tough to do over the course of a whole season. It really is. But this team does have the talent to do it. But everything has to keep going perfectly all year long. This Trey Turner injury that he is going to be out 6 weeks, I think eventually will start to catch up to him. I can't see Whit Merrifield and Mundo Sosa out there every day and feel confident. 6 weeks, that puts us into late June when he comes back. Maybe by the beginning of July. No need to rush anybody that important like Trey Turner back from a hamstring injury. That's hamstring injuries I hate. If he's ready in 6 weeks, I say we'll take a 7th week. That's almost my philosophy. I don't know if we could sustain this long term unless somebody like Nick Castellanos, who started to hit the ball pretty well yesterday, unless someone like him gets hot. Someone like him is going to have to step up and up their game to really make up for what Trey Turner was doing, which he was second in the league in hits, in the upper echelon in hits, batting average. I think it was steals. He was up there in a lot of offensive categories. So you need somebody to massively step up to fill those shoes. And I'm going to say I'm not a fan of moving Bryce and Stott back and forth from short to second. When Merrifield's in there, he plays shortstop. When Sosa's in there, he plays second. I don't like that. Keep Stott at one position, but I guess you can't do that. Isn't Sanchez in the mid 300? Mid 3, and his ERA, yeah, it's 3.6. Maybe I'm a few comments behind here. Eagles signed Trevor Keegan guard. He was one of their draft picks, wasn't he? Pretty sure he was one of their draft picks. Yeah, he was one of their draft picks. So TMZ just can't wait to throw football into the conversation. And I've put football into the conversation, and no one's really addressed the 30-year anniversary of Jeffrey Lurie's ownership of the Eagles. And what's the massive role of Reynolds Wrap on the left? That's not a massive role of Reynolds Wrap. If you do not know what this is, K1, then you got issues. You got issues if you don't know. I cannot tell you. I will take guesses. And I didn't want to block my Doctober picture there with it. If you don't know what that is, I'll take guesses from you guys. Somebody in the commenting section has to know what that is. They have to. Otherwise, you guys don't either have the same mindset as me, or B, don't listen to me really when I talk on this show. Otherwise, you know what that guy right there is, just so you know. There is an actual real thing that is, okay? And it's not just a roll of Reynolds Wrap. It's more of a wrapping paper tube with a little bit of Reynolds Wrap around it, just saying. Just going to let you know. Mrs. Stiefel was using the office. Nope, 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 nope. Bad guess. Football, it's never the fourth or seventh signing. It's always the first or third that takes me. Yeah. What is up, Brett? Good morning. Greetings. As the PT, we're talking Phillies. What is it with hamstring injuries that they always seem to linger? I always feel like teams need to take an extra week as the doctor of the core 12. Why is it that hamstring injuries are so hard to heal? Is it that it's just simply that they get rushed back? And we're talking about Trey Turner and his hammy, and him saying he's going to be about 6 weeks. So we are agree. Phillies win the series. Can we talk Eagles now? No. I have brought an Eagles point to the topic. Nobody's commenting on it. Just saying. Just saying. Don't forget about Cody. Cody who? Cody Clemens? Isn't that who they called up? He can't play second base, though, or shortstop. Phillies and Eagles will win championships, so let's talk football. Man, what would this city be like if the Phillies and Eagles won titles back-to-back? The world would never God would never let that happen. The world would never let that happen. All the commissioners around the world of every sports league around the world, the commissioner of the Australian Rugby League, every commissioner would get together. We can't let Philly have too much success. So there's no way that would happen, right? No, but thinking maybe I don't think I can use it for that. Sorry, I don't think that would work. The plastic wrap is how Phil stays so thin. Yeah, is that what it is? I wish I paid more attention to UFC these days, but I saw a video circulating of this guy dropping weight for a fight at UFC 301, and it was circulating how sick he was from the weight cut, and it just made me think, man, how dangerous weight cuts are for fighters now. No, a homemade lightsaber, no. I am not a Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever. Star Wars? No, not it. Who would have thought a nepo baby failed producer would have been our best owner? I love the way you phrased them. I did. I mean, John Middleton is turning into a really strong owner these last couple of years, really putting the fans first. But Jeffrey Lurie, it's not just that we've had winners. The charity arm of the Philadelphia Eagles is top-notch in all of sports. The community involvement, top-notch. Stadium, state-of-the-art. Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, if you're old enough to remember the Norman Brayman days of Philadelphia Eagles ownership. And I remember going to Miami on vacation. We were going on a cruise when I was a little kid. This is before Jeffrey Lurie bought the team. And my dad, we were driving around Miami before we went to the cruise ship. He's like, that's Norman Brayman's car dealership. He's the reason your football team stinks. That's what my dad said to me. I was like, yeah, okay. He cares more about that car dealership than he does your Philadelphia Eagles. So things could be it's so crazy. Jeffrey Lurie, I know the term gold standard and the Eagles or dream team and the Eagles is associated with negativity because of Vince Young and Joe Banner. But honestly, the term gold standard of sports ownership is Jeffrey Lurie. And whether he's a failed producer or not, he does have a couple Oscars now. One or two Oscars now in the last couple of years. So he's gotten better at that job. But I don't think you can ask for a better ownership in sports than Jeffrey Lurie. Trevor Keegan looks like he's going to be that guy. There was an interesting poll on somebody else's account who's going to start at right guard. It was Steen, Keegan, Hennessy, or Becton. And Keegan's got a chance. He's going to be fighting with I think Tyler Steen right now is your starting right guard in the clubhouse. He's the leader in the clubhouse. But I think it is an open competition. And I think Keegan's got a chance. He's got all offseason to work with Stout. He's got that mean look, too. We'd be unbearable. Oh, my God. We won one title. We'd be unbearable. But if we won two titles back-to-back in two sports, God damn. I mean, I'm used to being negative on this show. We have to be negative. We're negative people. We're Philadelphians. But there'd be no negative talk coming out of this show if that happened. Can Eagles make even a fifth a star? Sure. Absolutely. Why not? Hamstrings. We're talking back to Trey Turner. Hamstrings are the pair muscle group to the quads, the primary mover in standing and running, and does a lot of work with control of speed and forces. It takes a while because you have to allow it to heal. Gotcha. It's just such a massively used muscle that it takes a long even when you're rehab, you still gotta stand up and walk and do things. It's a pain. I hate it. So if he's got a 4 to 6 week recovery, I'm giving him 7 weeks. I don't wanna rush it. Come July, come August, come the playoffs, you need Trey Turner at 100%. And you can't have that lingering fear that there might be a hamstring issue popping back up in the playoffs. So you get him healthy and get him right. If the Eagles and Phillies won in 22, I would have been unbearable. Tush push would have been banned. We would not care as much. The Phillies winning the World Series would completely ruin the Sixers because they'd be winning that World Series as the Sixers season starts, and we would not be talking Sixers on this show every day. We'd be talking Phillies every day on this show. And we're trying. I've got the color on the screen to change to red. I'm trying. I put the Phillies. I put the daycare. It's Stott. No, I think I did Marsh and Bohm on the thumbnail today. Keegan is a Michigan guy. He is a baller. Yeah, he got all the face paint going. Looks like a Wolverine out there. Literally played for Michigan. So I think there's a battle. I don't know a lot about Keegan. I've seen the highlight films. I've seen the recaps, stuff like Deebs does on this channel with his draft pick breakdown videos. I've seen those, but that's all I know about Keegan. I didn't watch a lot of Michigan football. I didn't watch a lot of college football, period, but definitely not a lot of Michigan football. To me, and this will be a conversation as we go on. Look, we'll keep football in the conversation for sure. I mean, the schedule should be released Thursday, so Friday we'll talk about the Eagles' schedule. Next week, I got a special guest lined up to join us on this show. I still got to confirm it this weekend, but I got that. Actually, and on a side note, I just got a confirmation from Luke Arcani from Fox the Gambler. He's going to be joining us on Thursday morning for a little bit to talk Phillies, and we'll get his thoughts on is this sustainable and is this Phillies really that good? I got guests coming. Start chatting with some of the EOP guys, schedule some of these other guys from EOP to come on, except for Mitchie Poo. I think Mitchie Poo's mad at me. They won't even comment on the show anymore. Heal and then ramp up activities to see if the healed area can take these forces, kind of like Melton's lumbar spine stress reaction. Yeah. We finally got the answer. That is what it is. Brett and I are on the same page. It is my Festivus poll because to me, it's Festivus all year round. Because I got a lot of grievances to air year round. I can't save my airing of grievances for just one day of the year on December 23rd. Okay? You spelled it wrong. I see you spelled it right there. Yes. It's a Festivus poll. Festivus for the rest of us. Yes, I have my own Festivus poll. Okay? Can't help it. It is what it is. It's a Festivus. Airing of grievances. We are going to air. You know what? Live from the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, Drexel Hill Saturday, we might have a mini Festivus. We're going to air our grievances. And then we're going to see Big Al versus Pat Bernard in a feats of strength. That's what we're going to see. I don't know who's going to win that feats of strength between Big Al and Patty Bernard. I would set the line at minus 105 Big Al, plus 110 for Patty Bernard winning the feats of strength. But we're going to have to do a Festivus EOP party here. I have never watched a Star Wars movie in its entirety. I have. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I don't like sci-fi and the fantasy. I almost consider it like the sci-fi genre and the fantasy genre. They just don't. I need things that look and feel realistic to me. I know all movies are fake, obviously. Every time I say that, they're like, "Well, every movie's fake." I get that, but I just don't get into it. I respect the original three and the cultural phenomena and the importance in the history of entertainment that they bring. But the newer ones just don't do anything for me. I haven't seen most of the new ones. I haven't seen like even a second of. Like, didn't they do a Han Solo backstory movie? Like, I don't even know anything about that. Like, they just don't do anything for me whatsoever. Phil is designing a new way for protection. What? Protecting what? Also, Lori would have rather had owned the Patriots. Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you imagine that our Philadelphia Eagles owner didn't want to buy the Eagles to begin with? He wanted his fascination for the Patriots way started before he even bought the Eagles because he was outbid by Robert Kraft to buy the Patriots. So Jeffrey Lurie, like when you think of Philadelphians, Kyle Lowry, an athlete, but also from Philly area, and still lives and breathes Philly. Dawn Staley, a Philadelphian. Jeffrey Lurie is a Philadelphian. But 30 years ago, he probably couldn't have found Philadelphia on a map. Didn't want anything to do with Philadelphia. And he's turned into probably one of, if not the greatest owner in Philadelphia sports history. I mean, honestly, has anybody been better than him? Leonard Toast nearly moved the team to Arizona. Yeah, exactly. He was god-awful, too. Bro, that was EOP's poll. That's EOP's poll? No, that's my poll. That is my poll. Eagles made a seventh Jordan Mailata star. They took a sixth-round pick in Jason Kelce and turned him into a Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best centers of all time. A Mount Rushmore player in Philadelphia Eagles history. Came from the sixth round. Eagles helped make a seventh round of the best center in Eagles history. Look, Kelce was a sixth rounder. Mailata was a seventh rounder. Yeah, sixth round. So we aren't going to learn about the Reynolds wrap thing. We already announced it. Brett already called it. Did you miss the comment? I'm going to put it back up right there. It's a Festivus poll. Festivus for the rest of us. Do you not know what I mean when I say Festivus? Damn. You don't know what a Festivus poll is? And he spelled it wrong. It's VUS. But anyway, it's an episode from Seinfeld. But there is a real holiday called Festivus. It made famous in an episode of Seinfeld in the later years of Seinfeld. But if you Google it, there is an actual celebrated holiday 2 days before Christmas called Festivus. Two key things of it. The airing of grievances. You sit down at the dinner table and everybody gets a turn to say whatever they want negative about anybody. It's called airing the grievances. And the Festivus party doesn't end till someone pins the head of the household. It's calling feats of strength. But the two main characters, two main things, two main traditions of Festivus. Are the Phillies great, or is the talent in MLB weak nowadays? No, the Phillies are great. Mista, you changed your profile picture. Do we actually get to see Mista's face? Wow, look at that. No, the Phillies are great. And I think the talent is pretty good. I think the pitching in Major League Baseball overall has been fantastic this year. The Phillies are just that great. And there are certain guys that still aren't even clicking yet. Nick Castellanos to be one. The Phillies are a great baseball team, guys. I don't know how else to say it. Like, everything's working out perfectly right now. And even when guys are injured or guys miss time, things still are seeming to work out. Again, they could go 500 the rest of the year and still make the playoffs. Actually, honestly, probably under 500 and still make the playoffs. Does 87 wins get you in the playoffs? That doesn't even look like a festival. Dude, it's been through hell, this Festivus poll. I've had this for like 12 years now. It has moved 3 times with me. It has been bent. The foil's fallen off. Yeah, I got to touch it up. But it is my Festivus poll, just so you know. And honestly, but before we get back to comments, this was in the old studio. You just don't see it because the old studio, the wall was really far behind. But it was on the windowsill where the jerseys were behind me at the old house, too. Yeah, it's a Seinfeld thing. You can't even spell Seinfeld. Signafield. It's a Signafield thing. What the hell is a Signafield thing? I got big money. You got money on Big Al pinning. Patty Bernard, the Gobbler. That I might take the underdog in that one and lay the unit on plus 110. Patty Bernard. I might not take the minus 105 on Big Al. I might go with the long shot there. Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, it was a real good show. I've seen every episode of Seinfeld. I have. If you don't like sci-fi, you'll never get chicks. I don't want to get chicks. I'm married. I'm happily married. George Fenk and Estelle Costanza were the best part of Seinfeld, probably because it was based on Larry David's life. Yes, Larry David, the mind behind it. Frank and Estelle Costanza were fantastic. The casting of Frank Costanza, or damn, I can't think of his name. He played, he played the dad on King of Queens too. I'm trying to think of his name. Which father did you like? Who did? Because he played that role. I can't think of his name in the King of Queens. Um, Doug was, Kevin George James's name. I can't remember. I wasn't a huge King of Queens, but Frank Costanza was great in. Um, Estelle was fantastic. Like the casting of some of those sidekicks, like just watching, like Frank Costanza. Stiller was a great actor. Yeah, he fell into comedy, but he did serious roles early in his career. Fantastic, fantastic cast there. One time, I think George. I think all those guys were fantastic. Laurie is a Boston guy, though, so you can understand it. Yeah, absolutely. But the point about Jeffrey Lurie I was making, Duck, was that he was a Boston guy. He was a guy that could care less about the Eagles. And in 30 years of owning them, you would consider Jeffrey Lurie a Philadelphian. If that is a phrase, it's being a Philadelphian, a thing. Jeffrey Lurie has become a Philadelphian. You wouldn't say he's an outsider. And it's not just because of the 30 years, but because of the way he's indoctrinated himself into this city. He's become one with this city. I like science fiction when it's scientifically accurate. I'm a nerd at heart. Okay, I get that. See, I always use science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. I could get behind it if it looks realistic. And I use this this is off of Star Wars. This explains my taste in sci-fi and fantasy, okay? If you watch the original Lord of the Rings, the first three, not the Hobbits or anything like that, the original three, okay? The way it was filmed, the videography of it, or however it was made, or whatever terms you want to use. The original Lord of the Rings, obviously fake, obviously fantasy, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, right? But it looked realistic. Star Wars doesn't look realistic to me. Just like the Hobbit movies were terrible. They looked like cartoon characters. I don't want a lot of CGI. I want realistic. And a lot of sci-fi and fantasy movies and TV shows, they're just too reliant on things that make it look cheesy. And Star Wars looked a little cheesy. Star Trek was super cheesy. I need realism when I'm watching it. Anything I watch, I need some realism in it. I took the poll. Staples the other thing. Yeah. No, I didn't take it from EOP. I've never been to the EOP studio. One day I need to take a day off from work and I got to do trending in the AM from the EOP studios. That just would mean getting up. Let's see. I got to start at 8 a.m. It's about an hour drive to the EOP studios. So it's 7. I would have to leave here at like 6:30 in the morning, which would mean I'd have to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to get to the EOP studios in time to do the show. But someday this summer, I will do a show live from the EOP studio. Guarantee it. As with everything Star Wars and superhero movies can be great when done well. Problem is, especially with Disney, it gets driven to the ground and most movies stink. I think it's not just the Disney aspect of it. It's just the realism. Like some of the Captain America movies, like Winter Soldier, it was realistic. Yeah, you're talking about a superhero that's got super strength and power, but there was realism in it. I need to believe it. Dylan McMahon could be a sneaky good late round pick. Absolutely agree with you on Dylan McMahon as well. Another offensive lineman that's going to Stout University all summer. I haven't really read much, Big Al. Haven't really read much about rookie minicamp because it was a very basic like there's nothing exciting that came out of it. No news is good news. The only news, and I wrote this down, we didn't talk about it yesterday, that AJ Brown and actually somebody else was at the rookie minicamp giving veteran leadership to some of the young guys that were there. And anybody that says AJ Brown hated Philly, hated Devontae Smith, hated Jalen Hurts, didn't want to be here anymore. He signed a new long-term contract, and he's showing up at rookie minicamp as a leader. Doesn't have to be there, but he's there. Why? Because he's a leader. So that was the only real news to come out of camp. But yeah, Dylan McMahon, I think these late picks that we got, Dylan McMahon and and Trevor Keegan, and there's another one. I forget who it was. There's some value there. And at least one of them is going to develop in Stout U to be a pretty darn good player. You got to think, if you give Stoutland 3 or 4 young guys that play the offensive line, at least 1 or 2 of them are going to turn into studs. There's a chance all of them turn into studs. What's a traditional Festivus meal? Oh my God. Stop. Stop. Is it ham? I don't even know. I honestly, I don't know. I just like the airing of grievances. I don't even care about the feats of strength. I just love the airing of grievances. That's the only Festivus tradition that I follow through with. And I air my grievances every day on every single person out there. That's just who I am. Guys, we are brought to you here at Trending in the AM and Edge of Philly Sports by Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work, a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, call our friend David R. Cherry at the Cherry Law Firm. They're here to fight for you and get you what you deserve. Cherry Law Firm is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured through the state of Pennsylvania. Call them 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, 565-0300, cherryinjurylaw.com. David R. Cherry, he will get you what you deserve. Guys, you are watching Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Make sure you're hitting that like button, that share button, that subscribe, that follow button, that retweet button, wherever you're. I'm sure there are not enough likes on this video. So hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We are slowly inching to 15,000 subscribers. We're past 13,100 now. Got to get to 14,000, then 15,000, then 50,000 subscribers right here. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And when you're in Wawa later today, getting your afternoon coffee, tap on the shoulder in front of you, like, yo, subscribe to EOP. Let's go. Let's get it done, guys. We can only make EOP great if you're all on board and helping me make it great. That's what I need from each and every one of you. Your beard game is strong. Yeah. We didn't know Mista. Let's go back to Mista's last comment here. Look at that. Got a little beard going. A little gray in the beard. But I like the gray in the beard. Look at that beard right there. I like it. He's got a beard game going for sure. You want it? You got it. What? It's a Seinfeld. Yeah, exactly. The expanse was excellent. The Phillies are finally playing up to their abilities. Why is this hard to believe? And I think this is very interesting. And you know the thing is, Big Al, they're not even playing. Not even every single Philly is playing up to their level. Because again, Nick Castellanos, first double of the year last night. We are into May. It's May 6th yesterday. In game 36, and he hit his first double. So there is room for this team to eat. So I say it's so unrealistic that at this pace they win 112 games. And in general, I'd say 110, 112 is hard to get or hard to see them, getting to. But why is it so unbelievably hard to believe that they could do it? There is a lot of talent. This is one of the most expensive teams in Philadelphia sports history. There's talent, high-paid talent, but not high over. Like, nobody that's got big contracts is really overpaid. You might argue that Schwarber or Castellanos are overpaid, but in theory, when they signed those contracts, they weren't. And they're really good players. And we don't make the playoffs without Castellanos' hot streaks last year when he got hot. But there is a lot of talent and a lot of high-paid talent on this team. Why can't they be this good? Why can't they win 110 games? Hell, there's an argument to be made that Bryce Harper hasn't even gotten going yet. I know he had his 8th home run yesterday, was it? He's got his OPS up to like 900 now, I believe. Bryce Harper hasn't even really fully got it going. What's he got now? 8 homers, 24 RBIs. Not a lot. Hitting 243, almost a 500 slugging percentage. So it's getting up there. It's not, his OPS is still not 900. You expect Bryce Harper to be between 9 and 950 at least. So in theory, when Bryce Harper starts hitting, when Nick Castellanos starts hitting a little bit more, Kyle Schwarber starts hitting a little bit more, and Trey Turner comes back, if we stay afloat and then Trey Turner comes back July 1st and all of a sudden picks up where he left off, this team can win 110 games. It's probably unlikely, but they can. There is a scenario where this Phillies team can win 110 games. But I don't even care about that. I just care that they play well. I just care that they play well and get to the playoffs. I would love for them to win the division and get some home playoff series, home field advantage for the playoffs. I would love that. But is it realistic? I don't know. I mean, the Braves are still a damn good baseball team. The Gobbler is a wild name in 2024. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Patty the Gobbler. I don't know. Um, Peeps triggered Phil. Triggering Phil. Who's triggering me? Nobody's triggering me. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm embarrassed their parents still listen to Elvis. Um, People listen. I'm Jewish and I can't spell anyway. Deal with it. I won the third grade spelling bee at Holy Cross. Just gonna say. Just gonna say. So I could spell great on a third grade level. Just gonna say. Sorry, I'm not Jewish. We're making Jewish jokes here now. Come on now. Let's not make Jewish jokes. Thanks, brother. A long beard takes a lot of maintenance. It does. I miss my long beard. It's growing back slowly but surely. Jerry Stiller. Duh. Why couldn't I think of Jerry? I keep saying Ben Stiller. No, Jerry Singer. That's Jerry Stiller. That's right. Jerry Springer's father. No, it's Ben Stiller's father. Newman. Newman. Great character for sure. Ben Stiller's dad. Is his first role. I meant yeah. All right, so you got the right one. Okay. For sure. I bet you David Archerry is a huge Seinfeld fan. Most people are. Jerry Stiller was hilarious in the Heartbreak. The Heartbreak Kid was actually an underrated comedy, kind of cheesy at times, but it was actually a really underrated movie. Arthur Spooner, the Spooners, Doug Spooner. That's right. My wife. Yeah, I watched it more on replays and on reruns than live, but yeah, it's a good show. It definitely had its moments, had its characters, but Arthur Spooner, or Costanza, like Spooner or Costanza. What was his better role? Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if this would be a Stiller, Spooner, Costanza. We got another poll question for Twitter for later today. We'll have to see that one. I think the Seinfeld end will dominate, but Spooner was better than people realize. Yeah. Who wants to be a Philadelphian? Shit is sad out here every year. It is. It really is. A boomer Star Wars is best. Episode 1 is the best Star Wars movie. Is that the one that with the debut of Jar Jar or Jara Binks or whatever his name was? Jabbar Binks? I don't know. That if that's the one that you're talking about, then no, not at all. We have a futon. You have a futon? Oh, so you want me to sleep there? So I spend the night in the studio? I don't know about that. No, stop. Winter Soldier is not just the best MCU movie of all time, without a doubt, Marshawn. But if I had to do my top 20 movies of all time, it might crack my top 20 movies of all time. Winter Soldier was the perfect superhero movie ever made. It really was. And you could be a non superhero movie fan and sit down and watch that and still enjoy that movie. You could know nothing about Captain America, watch that movie, and become a Captain America fan instantly. The perfect movie. Um, yeah. I remember that, 99. Spaghetti and meatballs is the meal for Festivus Phil. Another positive for the. That is a positive. Um, Mailata was also at rookie mini. That was the other star, because Mailata is a star. Let's be honest. He was the second guy. Got you. AJ Brown being there. Jordan Mailata being there because you got young wide receivers, young offensive linemen. Huge, huge. Shows who the leaders are going. You've lost Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, huge leaders on this team. AJ Brown, Jordan Mailata stepping up. Gotta love it. Don't forget about Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield's been starting the last 2 or 3 games, starting to come around. He started very slow, for sure. The good thing about the Trey Turner injury is we don't have to see Brandon Marsh get benched to play Whit Merrifield in left field. He'll just play second base or whatever every so often. Whit Merrifield is starting to turn around. He hasn't been great, but he's been better. It's important. Harper on a tear since Trey went down. Yeah, the 2 games. Bryce Harper can be better, though. Bryce Harper's not playing at an all-star level yet. He's not playing at an MVP level yet, but I fully expect at the end of the season him having to have MVP caliber numbers. So that's the thing. We are 25 and 11. Best record in baseball. And Bryce Harper's not being an MVP yet. So that's an argument to be made that maybe we can get to 110 wins, 112 wins. It's such a disaster, such a catastrophe. I don't even get that comment. The Expanse is a sci-fi series about humans colonizing the entire solar system. Very thought-provoking, scientifically based, but is the cinematography realistic looking? That's the thing for me. I don't care about scientific based. I care about the appearance, how it visually see. I see it visually. Does it look real? As long as you suspend disbelief about colonizing a solar system, but does it come across as realistic looking? That is the difference for me. I want realism in my sci-fi. It was so good because the physics was accurate and the rest of the show was so realistic how we would mess up the rest of the universe. Well, that's a topic for another conversation, another podcast, not, you know, not trending in the we're not talking about how we would screw up the entire universe on Trending in the AM. Doug Heffernan and Carrie Spooner was one of my first crushes for a time. Yeah, that stretch of episodes at that beach resort or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Bar Binks. Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm thinking of right there. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Binks. Yeah, basically. Mr. Beard Game is fire. Yeah, he might take over the Beard of Knowledge title from me. The Spider-Verse and First Incredibles were the best superhero. I don't know what the Incredibles. I've never seen that. And the Spider-Verse, is that Into the Spider-Verse? I haven't watched them either. Not because I don't want to, just because, haven't had time for them, which is weird because I am a huge Spider-Man fan. But yeah, no, I disagree. I don't think it get better than Civil War or not Civil War. Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is just that damn good. AJ went to that. Yeah, AJ went to rookie minicamp to show his leadership of the Eagles. The fact that he is one of the top guys in that locker room now. All right, what is up? In for the final 20. What is up? Make sure you hit that like button, people. Pound that like button and share button right now on YouTube. Hit those buttons and hit that subscribe button if you have not done it yet. Please, I beg you, let's go. And again, guys, I don't have to promote things multiple times, but I want to promote this one more time here. Guys, the Streetlight Kitchen Bar and Grill, we are going to be live. A lot of us EOP people will be live right here, Drexel Hill, Saturday, starting at 2:30, May 11th, giving away 2 free Phillies tickets. Plus, you can have a beer with me. We can chit-chat. Guys, I'm going to push this hard this week, guys, because I want to see you all there. I want to see as many of you guys there. I know Eric don't live around here, but I would love to see some of you guys come on out, introduce yourselves. It'd mean a lot. I want Daryl Morey fired ASAP, but it's not going to happen. We need to fill out a petition. Do petitions work anymore? Petitions don't do nothing. They don't. Intro and Across the Spider-Verse. Check them out. Beautiful art and great stories. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, hype them up, for sure. And yeah, they're probably really good. Cartoons just don't really do it for me much. I don't know why. Cartoon movies, that is, like cartoon TV shows, sure, but not. I don't know if I could do them like a 2-hour cartoon or anything like that anymore. Eric, up in here. Yes, that's right. The Core 12, the gatekeeper, my man. I RKO'd that like button. RKO'd out of nowhere, right? RKO out of nowhere? Love it. Love it. I still prefer the diamond cutter version. DDP. Bam. That's still my personal opinion. When he floated over Goldberg, when Goldberg had him up for the jackhammer, he floated over, turned him around, and dropped him with the RK, the diamond cutter. That was prime WCW wrestling right there. Phil don't know Eminem without me. I know Eminem. One of the 3 greatest hip-hop artists of all time. Rappers of all time. Whatever genre you want to call it. Spaceballs. The best sci-fi movie. That's right. I'm my own best friend. Spaceballs is a timeless. I could talk about Spaceballs, man. Timeless flick, man. Timeless. Just so Mel Brooks. I mean, pretty much anything Mel Brooks did still holds its weight today. Now, if you want to take things too literal, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a few people out there that could be offended by Mel Brooks movies. But if you go in with an open mind, man, Spaceballs, anything by Mel Brooks, History of the World, Anything by Mel Brooks. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So may the Schwartz be with you relaunch. I'm going to be there in spirit, Phil. Well, in spirit is not there in person, okay? Todd Green, Mikal Bridges, Lauri Markkanen, that's the fix. And we're playing Madden or not or 2K, sure. But there's no scenario where Mikal Bridges and Lauri Markkanen both come to Philly. Sure. I'm going to be pounding the table. My shelf back here for Lauri Markkanen. And I keep getting told by people left and right that Danny Ainge ain't going to make a deal with the Sixers and Daryl Morey, or he's going to force him to overpay to get Lauri Markkanen. I don't think so. I think people misunderstand, beefs or GM. If Daryl Morey makes the best offer for Lauri Markkanen, if Lauri Markkanen's even for sale, there's reports out there that the Utah Jazz are not in sell mode, that they want to continue building around Lauri Markkanen. But if he is available and Daryl Morey makes the best offer, you think that Danny Ainge hates the Sixers so much that he's going to turn down the best offer to make a deal with somebody else? The people out there telling me that, I think, are ludicrous. If we've got the best offer and he's on the table, the deal is done. Mikal Bridges, I think that's more unrealistic because the Nets trading him into the Sixers, into the conference there, just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you be building your team around Mikal Bridges? Go get a guard to pair with him. But yeah, you can find a way to get both, Todd. Damn. Things would be pretty darn interesting and amazing right there. Back extended, chest up, at ease. How DDP described how to take the cutter. Back extended, chest up, and at ease. DDP, man, the people's champ. He was the real people's champ. Okay? He was the people's champ before The Rock, just so you know. Most things with John Candy is timeless. Oh, man. I was watching The Great Outdoors recently. I had never sat through that entire movie, and I just laughed my ass off nonstop. And it was on like AMC or something like that, so it was edited for TV, and I still just sat there and laughed. John Candy, great comedian in a starring role, a great bit actor as like a backup role in a movie. John Candy was so timeless as a comedian, and I would have loved to have seen John Candy live a little longer and create more. Like, could you imagine if John Candy and maybe someone like Chris Farley both lived longer and maybe got to do some films together? I mean, the magic that could have happened with some of the actor or John Candy and Adam Sandler, the magic that John Candy could have given us if he was on this earth longer with some of the other great comedian actors that came along after his passing. God, when I think about that, Brett, it's crazy. It's always about the Jewish prince. Yeah, always. Jewish princess always gets in the way, right? Brooks is a genius. Literally a comedic genius, Al. For sure. Is Alec Bohm for real? Can he become a top 10 player in baseball? Absolutely. Well, first off, is he for real? Yes. Is he going to hit 365 this year? No. But I've been saying since day one, his rookie year, that Alec Bohm could be a 310 hitter that hits 20 home runs and drives in 115 to 120 RBIs. That's what he could do. And that's a great player. If you hit 310, hit 20 home runs, and drive in 110, 120 RBIs, that's an elite baseball player right there. And I think Alec Bohm could be that. I really, 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 truly do. Now, 365, that's a bit extreme. And he's come down. He had an 0. I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Thomson benches him today because he was 0 for 4 yesterday. Because that's just Rob Thomson. But we're not going to criticize Rob Thomson today. We're not. But yes, I believe Alec Bohm is for real. I think Alec Bohm, yeah, he could be a top 10 MVP candidate. I don't know if he can win an MVP. It's going to be Ohtani. I don't know if you've seen Shohei Ohtani's numbers. I know he can't pitch, and it's been so long. It feels like the gambling scandal with his translator happened a decade ago. It was literally like a month and a half ago, not even. He's got 17 home runs already on the season. Go look up Shohei Ohtani's stats. I looked at him briefly this morning. Insane. So now that he's in the NL, he's pretty much going to be the MVP almost every single season now. Two-time WCW world champion, Diamond, Dallas, Page, I was a huge Diamond Dallas Page fan. Huge. I was a big fan of that era of WCW. I was a big Diamond Dallas Page fan and a big five-time WCW champion Booker T fan as well. Um, Blazing Saddles. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Right there. Honestly, Mel Brooks is known most for Spaceballs. And honestly, if you're talking about Blazing Saddles in American history, you know, Spaceballs might not even be in his top 3 of works. But that's what he's known for. Blazing Saddles. How many draft picks do you think we have getting both Bridges and Morey? We have 5 tradable first-round picks plus some second-round picks. It's probably going to take 3 to get Morey. It probably would take 3 to get Bridges, too. So it's not likely to get both. Now, people are saying that the Morey will have to overpay because Danny Ainge won't, just trade with with the Sixers. Get the F out of here with that stuff. If it's the best deal on the table, it gets done. Hey, yo. That's my Scott Hall impersonation. Hey, yo. You here for WCW? WCW? It's WCW. You forget, Phil. We have Bridges' mom. If mama says you have to come to Philly, you got to come to Philly. You still got to trade for him. Okay? Still got to trade for him. Just saying. Still have to trade for him. And I think the Nets would be silly to trade Bridges to the Sixers at this point in time. Now, if they want to trade him out west or something, that's different. But here, I don't know. DDP has saved more wrestlers. Dude, what Diamond Dallas Page has done with DDP Yoga and helping get wrestlers sober and healthy is amazing work. Let's be brutally honest. DDP, the person, and I don't know what Diamond Dallas Page's real name is in real life. I think he probably changed his name to Diamond Dallas Page in real life. We're almost over in the show, and I haven't even finished half my coffee yet. It's amazing the work that Diamond Dallas Page has done to save people. Yes. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles top 5 movie. It's damn hilarious. That is for sure. Ranger Suarez. I brought Ranger Suarez up last night on Twitter. And supposedly there was once, but we had the Wolf Pack, the Padilla Flotilla, the Howard Homers, all these fan clubs at every game cheering on players. How do we not have the Red Power Rangers out there doing it's morphin' time every time he strikes somebody out? All dressed up in red. My man Jeff Warner from the AET Sports Network, he's got like 8,000 pieces of Power Ranger memorabilia. He can hook up whoever wants to go to a game, and you can just get the morphin'. How do we not have the Red Power Rangers out there every single Ranger Suarez start? This was just on the other day, too. Maybe not the other day. I think we watched this over Easter weekend up in the mountains. Uncle Buck is a great movie. It absolutely is. Absolutely. Saw a documentary on Farley. There's quite a few of them, so I got to figure out which one you're talking about. We was going to do a Fatty Arbuckle biopic, but producers wouldn't fund unless he was clean for 2 years. He was going to stop drugs the New Year's a few days after he passed. I still remember Chris Farley when he was on David Letterman. I think it was the first time. And he runs through the crowd. He's doing cartwheels. And he is just picks up a dude, throws him in a dumpster, obviously a plant, whatever. And he sits down finally, huffing and puffing. Obviously a large man, doing a lot of running and physical activity. And the first words out of David Letterman's mouth were, "Did you have some candy backstage?" With a little wink. We weren't talking about the sugary candy. All right. We're talking about the other candy that that Chris Farley was known for. And I kind of look back on that when I see it now, and I'm like, if we only knew. David Letterman was joking about his substance abuse. Same thing when I see Richard Pryor reruns of him on, Johnny Carson. You can just tell when Pryor was on something versus not. We laughed about it back then. Now we know more. We see how it ruined it. I mean, Chris Farley was a comedic genius. He really was. And he didn't need to. And I've seen multiple documentaries about his self-confidence issues he had. Not just because of his weight, just because he didn't think highly of himself. We gotta look at our celebrities. They bring us joy on the screen, big screen or little screen. We look up to our athletes. They bring us joy on the field. But we always turn a blind eye to their struggles. We got to pick up on that stuff more. Even nowadays, we don't pick up on it enough. They would never make Blazing Saddles today. Yeah, it's funny. I think it's still relatable. A lot of what Mel Brooks did, but and it hasn't been canceled, quote unquote. But he's still. I don't think he'd be able to make that stuff now. It's still relatable now and can be played in reruns, but I don't think he could get away with releasing that. History of the World was great, and the TV series they did 2 years ago was pretty good too. I didn't see the series. The referees are helping the Knicks. Yes, we have not talked about the Knicks yet. My God, if you did not see the 3 plays towards the end of the game, the screen that was called a blocking foul, the kicked ball, which was really just a tip off of a finger, and then the reversed call where Jalen Brunson literally does a flying shoulder hip block into a guy, called a foul in game, and then they review it and they take it back. The officiating in the NBA has now gotten to the point where it's head and shoulders worse than any other sport. We could complain about refs in the NFL. We could complain about the umpires' balls and strikes in baseball. But goddamn, and officiating the NBA. I mean, I wasn't watching the game anyway last night. Wasn't going to. Just a little bitterness still of the Knicks with the Sixers. But I do plan on watching NBA basketball later in the playoffs. But I wasn't watching it last night. Still not over it fully. But goddamn, what I saw, Todd, this morning, pathetic. Pathetic. And the NBA really needs to step in and do something. They're not, but they need to. Because their image is taking a big hit right now. Big hit. And it's pathetic. Eagles are absolutely stacked, except edge. You can sign Yannick. We're okay. We'll get to some football later. We'll get to some football later. Look at the adjective play. Love Kevin Nash, but a funny flub in his iconic promo. Yeah, they all did. Paige Johnson Falkenberg Jr. So Paige is his first name, Joseph PJ. So he was basically he was a PJ. DDP was a PJ. I'm a PJ. Philip Joseph Stiefel. Just so you know. Thanks, Phil, for the reset pause. I did. I asked everybody to like. I did a sponsorship read. I did a lot. I did what I've got to do. Lakers have the draft pick right before the Sixers. We have to trade up so we can get Bryce. Yeah. Farley the GOAT. We agree on that one. That is for sure. What do you mean, Phil? It was just pixie sticks. Yeah. Was it? I don't think it was. Gotcha. Appreciate it. If it's the one I'm thinking of, because if it's the darker one, because there was 2. One was made by what was at the time Spike TV. It's Paramount now. It changed names like 100 times. It was one that Spike did. It wasn't as deep, but there was like a secondary side thing that did it. That was a very dark and deep documentary, and I've seen that one too. The studio wanted to cancel the initial release of Blazing Saddles because they were afraid of the southern states, but they didn't have anything to replace the movie in the schedule. I did not know that. That's interesting. The officiating the WWE. Honestly, Mister, this is not a bold-faced, random comment. This is true. The officiating in the WWE is better than the officiating. They're both scripted, right? The officiating in the WWE is scripted. The officiating in the NBA is scripted. At least it's more realistic. At least when an official in the WWE misses a call or outside interference, it's because he's got his back turned. The rest don't have their back turned, and they're still missing calls. This might be not just comment of the day, comment of the decade right here. The NBA officiating is absolute garbage right now. After the autobiography from the NBA ref who threw games, yes, the Dunny. I've watched that multiple times. It's pathetic, guys. It's time to start the wrap up process. So we're gonna get a little overtime because I haven't even started the wrap up. Make sure you guys are locked into EOP. You're hitting the like and share button on this video, but make sure you're hitting the subscribe. We got a jam-packed episode or list of shows today. I'll be back at 6 p.m. Fairway to Heaven. 3-time fantasy golf writer of the year, Len Hochberg, one of the absolute legends in fantasy writing, will be on the show at 6 o'clock, talking this week's Wells Fargo Championship with Jason and I. We also got the Kelly Green Hour, Birds of the Roundtable, Chalk Talk, and Phillies Post Game Live. That is 6 shows today on EOP. 27 shows this week, 7 days of programming right here. You've got, football stories on Thursdays, 5 to 7. You've got the Philly Press Box Radio. You got Edge of Philly Sports Live with Big Al on Wednesday. Make sure you are locked into EOP Sports, guys. Jam-packed every single week. Lots of great cast of characters on this channel. Lots of great content. You don't want to miss any of it. Shout out to all our sponsors. PhillySportsTrips.com. Cherry Law Firm. Sherry'sTickets.com. And hey, we haven't been promoting them because we've been promoting the Streetlight Kitchen Bar, but Dolan's in Ridley Park, an institution for over 60 years. Check them out as well. Guys, make sure you're locked into EOP. This is the place to be right now. That's right. It's always go Birds. But, Duck, I ain't going to lie. I do want to end. So I'm going to start changing up. We're not going to say go Birds to end the show. I can't get past the fact that I watched my team get beat almost the same way every year Morey's whole tenure. Depth, youth, and threes. And this Giants head who says it's a narrative. You need depth. Yeah. I wish you can drop me super chat tips in the comments section. There's links to my PayPal and Venmo, guys. They are there. That's right. Well, it's not going to be go Phillies. It's going to be ring that damn bell, guys. That's how we're going to end the show. So with that said, we will be back tomorrow 8 a.m. with another jam-packed episode. Who knows what we'll talk about? I'll be live 6 p.m. with Len Hochberg, Jason Sullivan, Fairway to Heaven. Guys, it's very, very, very simple. It's ring the damn bell.